Good morning, and welcome to the Cyber Smart Morning News Update. With the always evolving world of cyber threats and defense, you need a source you can trust. FBI retired Special Agent Darren Mott guides you through today's intricate cyber landscape and brings you the latest headlines and insights and what it means to you. Let's dive into today's cyber news.
Good morning, friends. Monday, July 15th, 2024. This is the Cyber Smart Morning News Update. I'm your host, retired FBI Supervisor Special Agent Darren Mott. And as always, a busy weekend. I had to close a whole bunch of tabs before I could even get to them because I had enough news tabs open to fill 15 minutes. So we will get right into it. I apologize. There was no podcast on Friday. As I mentioned on Wednesday, I was traveling, so I didn't really have the access or the time. And so I am back home, and this will be a normal week with some pop-up quick Cyber Guy micro pods during the week, and who knows what else. So you just have to pay attention and find out. If you're in the Huntsville region on Tuesday, there's a book signing for my new book, Get Cyber Smart, a user-friendly guide to protecting your family, your business, and yourself online. And you can feel free to attend that. You can find information on that on my LinkedIn page, or you can find it on Facebook as well. Just look up Darren Mott. All right, let's get right into it. TheRegister.com. This is Connor Jones. CISA broke into a U.S. federal agency, and no one noticed for a full 5 months. The only reason I picked it because the headline just made me laugh. All right, the U.S. Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency says a red team exercise at a certain unnamed federal agency in 2023 revealed a string of security failings that exposed its most critical assets. CISA calls these silent shield assessments. The agency's dedicated red team picks a federal civilian executive branch agency to probe and does so without prior notice, all the while trying to simulate the maneuvers of a long-term hostile nation-state threat group. Now, these are things that the government should be doing against itself. Sadly, the results are usually unfortunate. According to the agency's account of the exercise, the red team was able to gain initial access by exploiting an unpatched vulnerability in the target agency's Oracle Solaris enclave, leading to what it said was a full compromise. So there's a lot more to this if you want to read more details on this. The only reason I really bring this up is simply to note that as the government continues to try to regulate cybersecurity in the private sector, they should probably figure out how to deal with requirements in cyberspace in their own systems. Now, this is one federal agency, but I guess my guess, if you did it to many, you would kind of get similar results because the government just, like everybody, doesn't have appropriate personnel in place to do the basic things they need to be from a cybersecurity perspective. So if the government, with unlimited funds, seemingly unlimited funds, and the ability to do these things, can't do this right, how do small and medium-sized businesses do it? It's hard. So you have to find assistance by someone to allow you to do that, regardless of the field of expertise you're in. If you're in the legal field, if you're in the accounting field, if you're in healthcare, if you're in manufacturing, find help. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, and I can't say this enough, and I'm a little self-serving because I do some of this myself. Not that anybody ever takes me up on it, but I have the offering. Do assessment. Just figure out what don't you know that you should know. Start down that route. And like I said, I will say this again. If anyone wants a free hour of consulting to kind of look at a quick overview of your cybersecurity environment, email me, Darren at thecyberguy.com. No sales pitch at the end. I will just tell you honestly, here's where I think you stand. So, but again, no one takes me up on it, but there we are. If you know anyone, small and medium businesses needs help, reach out to the Cyber Guy. He'll try to help you if he can. CyberNews.com, Stephanie Schapper, Rite Aid breached again, according to new ransomware claim. The Rite Aid Corporation, an American chain of drugstores located in almost every town and city across 16 states, has allegedly been hit by ransomware. In a statement sent to Cyber News on Friday, Rite Aid confirmed the company had suffered a limited cybersecurity incident in June and now is in the process of finalizing our investigation. At the end of the day, they stole 10 gigabytes of customer data, equating to about 45 million lines of people's personal information. A Russian link gang posted on its victim website. Does it say who that victim's Ransom Hub is the group that did this. They gave Rite Aid 13 days to meet the group's demand or the compromised data would allegedly be leaked. The ransomware group also claimed at some point it began negotiations with Rite Aid, even agreeing on a ransom amount to be paid, and that has since fallen apart. The number of losses is believed to be Did it say 2.3 million? I think, did it say that? No, it doesn't say the number there. Reading more down through the article, there's information on who Ransom Hub is. It doesn't say how much information lost, but chances are, if you're a Rite Aid customer, you're going to get a free year of identity theft protection coming your way. So look for that email coming that your data has been compromised. CyBUrscoop.com, Derek Johnson. And as always, I didn't mention this at the beginning, all of these articles, links to them are located in the show notes, so you can go review them at your leisure if you're so inclined. CyBUrscoop, Derek Johnson. Cybersecurity regulations face an uphill battle after the Chevron ruling. This is probably somewhat of a good thing, but the Biden administration has looked to regulation to strengthen cybersecurity rules. But a Supreme Court ruling threatens that effort. President Joe Biden's executive branch has distinguished itself on cybersecurity policy from previous administrations with its willingness to embrace regulations, often with a bit of creative lawyering involved. Well, that is quite the suck-up paragraph, I got to say. But a landmark ruling by the Supreme Court last week that overturned the so-called Chevron doctrine, which holds that courts should defer to federal agencies when interpreting parts of federal law not specified by Congress, threatens to make it much more difficult for the Biden administration to put in place more stringent cybersecurity rules. And honestly, I'm not going to read more of this article. It is just I'm just noting this point that to be, if you are in an industry with a host of different cybersecurity regulations coming down the pike, understand they may be put on hold beyond just the SEC ones that are already in place. But some of the things that the SEC ruling to do is probably a good thing. What I'd like to see is more, you know what I'm going to say, more postmortem stuff, but that's my own dream. But honestly, at the end of the day, companies, entities, private sector companies should not need the government to tell them to do the right thing. Just do the right thing. But again, I understand it costs money and those kind of things. But think about it this way. Let's say you pay a consultant $15,000 to do an assessment and some training and other stuff for your company. And it makes you safer so that you do not become a victim of a data breach or something along those lines. Data breach is averaging several $1 million when they occur. 15,000 versus 4.8 million, which is the better financial mode there. I mean, I'm not a business person. Clearly, if I was, I'd be doing different things, but I'm not. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know, spend a little money before you have to spend a lot of money. So again, I say that note. Again, free consulting if you want it. Darren at cyberguy.com. Bleepingcomputer.com. Banks, this is Bill Tolis. Banks in Singapore to phase out one-time passwords in 3 months. This is a good line. I mean, a good idea because, you know, at some point we need to pretty much get rid of passwords altogether. But the Monetary Authority of Singapore has announced a new requirement impacting all major retail banks in the country to phase out the use of one-time passwords or OTPs within the next 3 months. Now, what a one-time password is, what they're really saying is, like Amazon does this. When you log into Amazon on an unfamiliar device, you will get an OTP. It's a 6-digit code that probably comes to your text message. They're getting rid of this. And I note this article simply because it's the way we need to go, ultimately. And what they're doing instead, and the reason they're doing this, and this is a quote from the article, the use of OTP was introduced in the 2000s as a multi-factor authentication option to strengthen online security, reads the MAS announcement. Quote, however, technological developments and more sophisticated social engineering attacks have since enabled scammers to more easily phish for customers' OTPs, for example, through setting up fake bank websites that closely resemble the genuine websites. So OTPs, still pretty good if you use them right way, but there's certainly risks to those. So Singapore bank customers will now use digital tokens instead of OTPs, which they must activate on their mobile devices. I'm assuming this is similar to using Google's Authenticator, Microsoft's Authenticator to log into things because you have to have your phone for it to work. And it's harder for a bad guy to get that. Now, there's ways around these as well. They're just harder. According to ABS, which is, who the hell is ABS? The Association Banks of Singapore, digital tokens are already activated for 60 to 90% of customers on the country's 3 major banks. The digital token will authenticate customers' login without the need for an OTP that scammers can steal or trick customers into disclosing. Those who have not activated it will have to, and so on and so forth. So the reason I bring this up is because this is probably where you can expect your own bank to eventually go. Again, it's going to cost them money to do it, but eventually they're going to get there simply because it will lower risk and it's a more effective methodology for getting in. This next article is from the Hacker News, and this is more of an advertisement on their site, and I'm not getting paid to tell you this. I'm just saying it because this is an interesting webinar that they're putting together that is on, when is this? It's coming up. It's Didn't say that's weird. Okay, so they're doing a live webinar. Basically, it says, ever wonder how hackers really steal passwords? Discover their tactics in this webinar. So in today's digital age, passwords serve as a key to our most sensitive information. Yeah, whatever. We all know these things. So basically, Hacker News is doing a webinar, and I'll tell you when it is in a little bit. But basically, you'll learn the anatomy of an attack, what happens next, price of inaction, and things you should do to protect yourself. And there's a link in the article to join the webinar. I'm sure it's free. Let's see. I'm going to actually open the link and see what it tells me. It is on... Doesn't say. What the hell? Okay, so anyway, they have this. It doesn't say when, but apparently, about the webinar. See if that helps me. This is good planning on my part to really help you out. But you can take a look at it. I assume it's coming up fairly soon. I'm not going to go through signing up myself because, so they're actually, I'm sorry. They're actually doing this 4 times. On Monday, July 5th. They're doing it today at 11 Central. They're also doing it Tuesday at 1 p.m. Central Time, Tuesday, 5 p.m. Central, and Wednesday, 11 a.m. Central. So there's 4 options for you to go watch this. So if you're interested to know how hackers take your credentials and how they use it, it's a good one to understand. So I recommend that to you. Not that I'm getting paid for it. I'm not getting paid for it. I thought it was interesting. Wired.com, notorious hacker Kingpin Tank is finally going to prison. So this is on from the good news file. For more than a decade, Vyacheslav Igorovich Penchovov, sounds Russian, but he's Ukrainian, who used the online hacker named Tank, managed to evade cops. But FBI and Ukrainian officials raided his Donetsk apartment in 2010, 14 years ago. The place was deserted and he had vanished, but the criminal spree came to a juddering halt at the end of 2022 when, foolishly, he traveled to Switzerland, was arrested, and then extradited to the United States. So he, what did he get? This is reporting this is last week, at a U.S. federal court in Lincoln, Nebraska, sentenced him to 2 concurrent 9-year sentences after he pleaded guilty to 2 charges of conspiracy to participate in racketeering and conspiracy to commit wire fraud. So he's also ordered to pay $73 million. Does it say how much he stole? It doesn't really say how much he stole. Actually, it may. But anyway, this is a good news file story. Yeah, he got arrested. Someone's going to jail. We always like it when that happens, when these things come to a conclusion. So thumbs up to all involved in that. Wired, Andy Greenberg and Lily Hay Newman, the $11 billion marketplace enabling the crypto scam economy. As the crypto scam, commonly known as pig butchering, has exploded into a full-blown criminal industry that steals tens of billions of dollars a year, an entire ecosystem has formed around it. That sub-industry offers tools and data for finding and tricking targets, money laundering services to help liquidate stolen funds, even detention tools to imprison and coerce the human trafficking victims enslaved to work in the scam operations. New research now shows how all of these secondary services enabling the global scourge of pig butchering can be found on a single Cambodian online platform, part of a company linked to the Cambodian ruling family known as Huayin Guarantee. On Wednesday of last week, crypto tracing firm Elliptic published a report that delves into crypto scammers' extensive use of this group, a deposit and escrow service for peer-to-peer transaction that lets users buy and sell over the Telegram messaging service with a cryptocurrency tether while preventing them from defrauding each other. So this is a pretty lengthy article. It's a good research article to talk about how cryptocurrency works. I'm actually going to link this in my LinkedIn page because I think it's worth reading. As much information as we get on this kind of scam is important because it's impacting many, 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 many people. I had one other article, and it basically, at the end of the day, it's from helpnetsecurity.com. You can go see it. Basically, if you're an Advanced Auto Parts user, there was a data breach. 2.3 million individuals' information was stolen. What data was compromised? The data breach notices sent out to affected Advanced Auto Parts customers say that threat actor exfiltrated the personal information, including name, social security number, driver's license, and other government-issued identification numbers and dates of birth. So again, here's another one. And this is because it occurred, they had their stuff on Snowflake, didn't have MFA. Bad things happen. Again, multi-factor authentication. Use it, people. Use it everywhere. If you have a Snowflake account, use it there. That's going to do it for the news for today. I'm running out of time. So as always, if you found value or you think it's interesting, feel free to email me, Darren@cyberguy.com. Let your friends know. So thank you for giving a listen and telling a friend. As you go through your day, know that knowledge is protection. If we can understand the threats targeting us, we can assess our risk, proceed wisely. Thanks again for listening. We'll be back again on Wednesday.
Cyber Smart Morning News is written and produced by Cyber Guy Productions. Feel free to email thoughts, comments, or suggestions to Darren at thecyberguy.com or follow Darren on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/DarrettMott. Thanks for listening.